Like seriously, why doesn't every monitor have a like this? Oh my, it is freaking amazing. Alrighty guys, so today we are checking out the AndyCine A6 Pro, and this is a 5.5 inch touch video display. Been using it for a few weeks now, and I've been absolutely loving it. Well, mostly. Now real quick guys, only 4.4% of the people that actually watch my videos are subscribed to my channel, which is insane. Like, if you are enjoying my content and you are getting value from it, then just be sure to hit that subscribe button. It actually makes a big difference to helping this channel grow and reach more people. So a video monitor is something that I think every single filmmaker should have, because when you're viewing that tiny little screen on the back of your camera, like, it just strains your eyes, and when you're looking at it all day, like, it just gets annoying. You can't see little details and whatnot, and this just makes it so much easier. And for me, my favorite size is around this kind of like 5-inch size, because it's a happy medium between like not being too bulky, but it's also big enough to be able to see like little details and make it easier to see. So now the AndyCine Pro has a 5.5 inch display. It's got 500 nits brightness. It's got a 1000:1 contrast ratio. It has a 1080p resolution display, and you can feed in 4K input. So if your camera outputs 4K like my C200, then you can feed it straight in there, and it will be able to actually downsample it to be able to display on this. It comes with a monitor swivel bracket to mount it on your camera, as well as a sunshade and a HDMI to micro HDMI cable. It's powered by NPF batteries, which I'm pretty sure every single filmmaker has like 17,000 of these. They're so handy. And the best part, absolutely hands down, would have to be this NPF Pass-Through Power. Like seriously, why doesn't every monitor have a like this? Oh my, it is freaking amazing. And the reason this is such a game changer is because of how compact this actual unit stays, even when you build it out. Now the main way that I would use this is with a wireless video transmitter or receiver, because typically like you have to mount this somewhere on your camera or on your monitor, whereas like with this, like look at this, you literally just clip on your NPF battery, and then that's it. Like obviously you need a HDMI cable, but it's all connected in there, it's all in one unit, and it just works. Like, oh, that is just so good. So now this NPF battery is not only powering the monitor, but it's also passing through that power and powering this wireless transmitter as well. Like, that is just so good. And then we just need like a tiny little HDMI cable like this one, and now that's all connected. Like, how neat and tidy is that? That is so sick. And then even better, if you wanted to use this as like a focus pulling rig, you can put like a mount on here, and then you can slide in an actual focus puller. And look at that, like that is a full focus pulling rig, and it is freaking tiny. So good. Now the build quality of the A6 Pro isn't that great. Obviously it's a cheaper monitor, so it's an all plastic design. They've done their best to make it look like professional. Like the actual design looks nice, but remember that it is plastic, so don't go dropping this on hard surfaces and whatnot, because it probably won't survive that long. But considering how cheap this monitor is, like you can't expect it to be like an all metal body, so it's just not possible. Now I did say that I've been loving this mostly because the big downside is the brightness of the screen. The A6 Pro screen is only 500 nits, which is perfect for indoors, like no problems at all. But as soon as you step outdoors into direct sunlight, this is where you start noticing it, where you kind of wish it was a little bit brighter. I have included a sunshade, which is actually really good, and it's an absolute must if you are using this outdoors. Like, it will just cut off some of the glare and allow you to actually see the monitor way better. And it's also a two-piece design as well. So this is actually Velcro, and you can actually leave the frame on there to put the sunshade back on. Or if you don't want the sunshade at all, then you can also just take off this actual like little frame and then just have the monitor by itself. But honestly, like without the sunshade, trying to see this in broad daylight is nearly impossible. Like the screen is super glossy and it just reflects all that light. Like you kind of have to try put something dark behind you to then be able to see the screen. The A6 Pro is also a touchscreen as well, so it makes like getting into menus and whatnot like super easy. How do I get into this one? Like, it's just super intuitive to use. Like to access the main menu, you just double tap the screen and then tap to the setting you actually want to adjust. And then to adjust the brightness, you just swipe up and down on the left part of the screen, and then the same on the right part of the screen for the volume. But because my C70 also has a touchscreen as well, I've noticed when I've been using it that I've been trying to adjust settings on the camera on this screen rather than the C70 screen. Like, it's just something to get your head around. Now, as for ports and connectors, it has a ton of them. It's got HDMI in and HDMI loop out, DC in and DC out, 3.5mm headphone jack for monitoring, 1/4-20 screw holes on 3 of the 4 sides for connecting accessories or the included mounting arm that you get in the box. And it's even got this little like 1/4-20 screw hole on the back as well. I don't know what you would use this one for, but it's there if you need to use it. But one thing I do have to mention is that when I mount it on my camera with my small rig like connector, it does actually cover the headphone jack. So yeah, kind of have to have like a small connector on the bottom to then still have access to the headphone jack. So just keep that in mind if you are going to use that bottom one. Now my favorite display feature would have to be having access to those false colors. This is super handy when lighting a scene for a film because you can actually visually see what the brightness values are rather than just trying to guess or use a waveform monitor. Because it's so easy to just overcook practical lights in your scene, whereas with your false colors, you can actually see like a visual representation of how bright it is in relation to everything else, and it's so much easier to use. Plus having things like focus, peaking, inbuilt LUTs, anamorphic squeeze modes, and like being able to zoom in on the actual display itself is super duper handy to have. Now as for price, the A6 Pro will only set you back $179 US, which is an absolute freaking bargain considering like it's got this NPF Pass-Through. Like, oh man, every single monitor from now on, I'm gonna like try to request that it has that. That is just such a good feature. And if AndyCine brought out this exact monitor but made like 2000 or 2600 nits, man, this would be like the absolute ultimate monitor for any situation. Alright guys, if you did enjoy this review, then consider liking and subscribing. And if you want to find out more about the AndyCine A6 Pro or where to buy it, I'll leave some links down below. And as always guys, stay creative and just be you. See ya.